Tell me some things that you see with your kids that you would like to have an exercise or a drill to help fix.
Hit it fat.
Hit it fat. Okay?
Move their right hip.
That way. Okay. That's a good one. You know, I think I mentioned this yesterday, but I think everybody playing golf needs at least two of these in their bag. Everybody. Because they're cheap as anything, but there's really not anything you can't work on in golf with these things. Instead of having a $2,000 or $3,000 training aid, which no one's going to have, you put these sticks in your bag and you can cover everything from swing plane to swaying your body to you name it. You can cover it. Hitting the ball fat and thin, I think, is a big deal. There's a lot of reasons why. Come over here and check this little exercise out right here. This is probably more of an intermediate to advanced drill. I wouldn't give this to someone just learning to play the game. I think it's too much. I think that's, if you're learning to play the game, that slow motion swing that we just did, working on your slow positions, and learning it really slow to finish over here in balance where there's no weight on that back foot, I think that's more for the ones just learning how to play golf. If you see someone that doesn't take a divot, that you say, wow, that's a pretty good golf swing, doesn't take a divot, or when they take a divot, it's fat, you have to know the reason why that's happening is because there is this going on at the bottom. See, when I do that, there's no way the club can hit in front of that line. So there's a scoop going on. Why? Who knows? There could be a million reasons why. If the club face is open at the top of the swing and you see that, you have to fix that. You don't have to fix a closed club face. There's a million good players with a closed. Only time you fix a, hi Lou. Anytime you fix a closed club face is if they can't quit hitting it left. But if they're hitting it straight and you're looking at the top and going, wow, that face is closed, man, I would leave that alone and I wouldn't do anything. But if you look up there and that face is open like this, I would fix it in a heartbeat, because that leads to coming over the top. That leads to a scoop, trying to square the club face. That leads to one thing after another, after another, after another. So fix that one. But if you can do this exercise here, and I'm not going to hit any, but have them start out where the line is in the middle and just go really slow. Go back to here and over here. And just tap the grass in front of the line. Here, here. And just start by just doing that little exercise. Halfway back, through. Notice how I'm tapping the line way over here each time. The only way you learn to tap the line is to get off of your back leg. And this drill allows you to go back. The club is set in slow motion now. My weight's forward. As my weight's forward, the club is still set. And then there's a point right here at the bottom where the club releases past the golf ball. I would really learn for people to do that if they can't. That's a very, very good little drill. And then you can add a ball whenever they can do this. But maybe not full swings, just some soft ones. Okay? So this is a good kind of fat exercise. If they're hitting behind the ball, that's a good one. People that hit on top of the ball, usually it's one thing only. It's not looking up. It is, the spine is standing up. So in a perfect world, if we bend like we're teaching him to bend to 48, once you're at 48 degrees, you stay at 48 degrees the entire swing, all the way back, all the way to impact, all the way past impact, and then at the very end, up. That's the thin shot. So that's, to me, is a good way to fix that, is maybe just have them come up and find a tee or a little rock here and just learn to brush the tee or the grass right there. That will teach a person to stay down. That's so simple too. That's a good one. If you have, we have a $2,000 explainer that teaches people to stay on plane in there, which is nice. If you have someone that takes the club outside, most people take it inside. Set this up like this right here. Have them set the club right in front of it like this and have them practice that initial feel right there. If they want to go farther back, you can set this a little you can set this a little bit higher. See that? And to the top. This is a wonderful way if you see someone starting to take the club way in here like this. This is a really, really good way to help them keep the club back on the correct plane. You notice in slow motion now, watch this. Look where I am halfway back. The same position as that little slow motion drill right there. This is very, very effective right here. I know all of you want to know a drill. There's a lot of drills. If someone, we just had the guy in the last class, if you come back here and you look at this, if you want a wonderful little exercise, the only way these work, by the way, is if they do them.
Right. Oh yeah, that.
These aren't magic. They don't, but they do help. Now, if you want to take a picture of this later, you can. I try to set this up, these parallel. I set the golf ball just inside this and underneath the tall part. It allows a person to come in here and stand square to the golf ball. It also allows you to see the ball position. But the reason I set it underneath this tall part is it allows you all this room to go back and keep the club on plane. But then on the way down, if the first move is like this, you can see what's going to happen. You're going to plant that club right in this thing right here. So this exercise will allow a person to hit more from the inside, and it gives you a real sense on the way down of what this motion feels like on the way down versus that motion right there, this motion. This works wonders if you can see that. That makes sense? How many of you have tape for your clubs? Get you some, go by Edwin Watts or Golfsmith and see if they have impact tape. And put this on the kid's face when they're practicing, so you can have an idea where they're hitting that ball, and so can they. And if you find that they're all over the face, if they're on the toe, then more likely, or way really low on the face, then you know it's probably something to do with their setup, or if their setup is good, they're having a tendency to stand up. If they're hitting it in here close to the hosel, you know it's probably because they're coming over or because their hips are moving towards the ball, which then shoves the hands into the ball and makes them hit the inside. And a really simple, good drill for that is this. Now, if the board scares you or scares them, the little things that Dick's using up on the green, those little floaty type deals, they have them in a bigger one. You can take that and set it to the side of the golf ball. Anything, cooler, anything, and have them set there and just hit a few shots beside this. What it'll do is it will bring your hands back exactly where they started, versus it won't allow you to come over, and it won't allow your hands to move out because you'll end up hitting the board. That's a very simple, easy exercise to do with your kids as well if they're having a hard time hitting the face. So I think those are probably some good drills for you to carry home. And if you have your phone with you before you leave, you might take pictures, so when you get home, you know how to do this. The first thing I'd do, if you don't have these things, I would go by Lowe's, go in the little section where they have signs, stop, do not enter, all those kind of signs, and pick you up a couple of those and make your kids put them in their bag before they start back golf season next year. And if you have them and you use them and you know how to use them, they are unbelievable.
Mike, what about reverse pivot? What's a good drill?
Reverse pivot, I think one of the best drills is this right here. Take the sun and get the sun to your back. Get your head right on that. Get your body in a good position where your head's slightly behind the ball. You know, a lot of times people reverse pivot because their hips are like this and their shoulders are like that, and when they go up, they're like this. So if you preset your body in a position like it's supposed to be, see the difference? And then when you go back, when you turn back, force them to turn back and get their shadow to move behind the golf ball, it'll fix it. And it's just like having a mirror. You can see it when you're doing it. First thing they might do is go like this. And then they start to see, wow, that's what that is. Now get your body set up like this. Get over here. And it's unbelievable how well that shadow drill works. Good way to do it. Huh?
And it's cheap.
It doesn't cost a thing. Just be a little hot when you're doing it. Any other questions there?
I got one. I have a hard time with the girls on that hinge on their hands. Their tendency is to keep the club here. It's a try to get them to start where to get that position to start hinging the club.
On the way back?
Yeah, on the way back.
That will help. That'll help them to go back and learn to blend that hinge in a little bit. The other thing that will help, this is a good drill. You can have people hit golf balls like that. You can have them put it on a little bit of a tee like this. Notice I do a lot of things on tees because when you're working on something new, the last thing you want to do is get somebody frustrated. Put it on a tee, have them take this right here, have them hinge, turn, hit. And that's a good way to feel. You don't raise your body, hinge, turn, see what that is? Hit. And it gives them a sense of how the wrist work in the golf swing. A lot of people think the wrist work this way in the swing. They actually work this way in the swing. So it gives them a good feel of how to hinge the wrist up, turn the shoulders, and what it's going to feel like, and then have them blend it in with this exercise right here, working it back and letting it get back to there and start to work up a little bit. I enjoyed it, everyone. I hope some of these drills and things you can take home with you and use them. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.